You're listening to a Lost in the Groove segment.
Having good vibes with your bones and joints. Taking a trip into the groove. American groove into stoner world. Gonna
There is something about Rocky Horror Picture Show that just strikes a chord. I don't know what it is.
I know.
It came out so long ago. The story makes absolutely no sense. And if you watch it by yourself, you are fucking weird. Okay? It's not watched by yourself. It just
If it's on TV, like if it's on
maybe.
if it's on the channel, it's like already on. You're like, okay.
But it was designed, like if you think about it, like if you watch the movie from start to, it was designed to watch with an audience or friends.
With a group.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's made for a theater. It's made to be like shown. I feel like I love Rocky Horror for a lot of different reasons. I was young when I saw it. I had heard about it, seen pictures of it, but didn't really know what it was. And I had a friend that was kind of like more edgy, and her parents were kind of more eccentric. And it was her birthday, and she was having a sleepover. And her parents were letting us make like virgin cocktails, and they were like letting us like, I don't know, her parents are different than mine. And
they're
like,
a little wild.
My parents would never like even entertain the idea of a drink, even if it was
were they the ones that like put the VHS tape in the, TV monitor, and they're just like, all right, here's your virgin cocktails, here's your Rocky Horror?
I have no idea. So like,
did you watch it at the sleepover?
So yeah, that's part of the story. So my dad was taking me over to the sleepover, and when my dad dropped me off at the front door, the girl's mother asked my dad if it was okay if we watched the Rocky Horror Picture Show. And my dad said yes, and I remember feeling privileged to see it. Like it was like a...
Did your dad know what it was? Yeah, okay.
Now, my mom and dad went to Rocky Horror Picture Show as a date when they were dating. So,
oh, damn.
What year did that come out?
1974.
Yeah, so my mom and dad, I believe, were married, and they probably got to, like, get out of the house for the night and, like, go see the movie. They said everybody talked about it. Like, it was, like, most everybody went.
Honestly, like, the 1970s was kind of like almost a silent rebellion. There was a feeling of sadness, because the truth is, as American people, like, we failed. We lost the fight against the Vietnam War, and we lost the fight against allowing us have freedom of choice. And it was kind of like the filmmakers and the music writers like took this approach to like, well, guess what? Fuck you. We're going to put nudity. We're going to put pornographic images. We're going to make something
interesting.
We like, if you think about some of the most pornographic movies, some of the most horrendous movies, like Texas Chainsaw Massacre, The Exorcist, like you have Rocky Horror Picture Show, you have 2001 Space Odyssey, which came out in 1969, so technically it's like not 1970, but like there's Westworld. Okay, that's another great example.
I just think that something about Rocky Horror, it kind of like was passable. Like, for instance, like my mother went and saw it in the theaters. It's interesting how it was very sexual, but at the same time it was kind of like, for like, no one took it too seriously, like it was like, oh, movies, like, and I remember asking mom, I was like, "Oh, that's really, sexual and like pretty, that's really awful that he sleeps with these, both the man and the woman in the new marriage." And my mother goes, "Oh, he's just that tempting." And it was like kind of she just joked about it and she was like, "He's an alien," and like my mother, somebody who is extremely religious, understands that it's for entertainment value. She doesn't find it threatening. It doesn't seem satanic. It doesn't seem like dark. It's honestly just kind of nonsense to her. And so for her, it's like it's still fun entertainment. And I just think that somehow in the 70s, they were able to accomplish like entertaining people with this like wide variety of thoughts without people connecting it to their everyday experiences.
It's
It's like
because,
people could understand the difference between
yeah,
theatrics and entertainment and your everyday life.
it's because there was a time where, I mean, we both remember this. We remember comedy movies. Okay, we remember
Oh
real,
god, yeah.
real
No.
comedy
Do
movies.
you remember
Uh,
Vince Vaughn?
yes.
His voice is so entertaining. I just have to say, he's a lost art.
It
And I've
is.
heard a lot of bad things about him, but he was great. Okay, go on.
But no, no,
Sorry.
no. Like, what I'm trying to get at is there was a time where that the film industry was not bought. Okay. They were an entity that created material. They created these incredible stories like Mel Brooks. All right. Mel Brooks and the producers. All right. And that
Oh,
goddamn Hitler song. Like,
The Producers is amazing. Don't even get me
amazing.
started.
Okay. There's so many amazing movies, and just because back then they said, we don't care if you're Democrat or Republican. We don't give a shit about agendas. We don't care about being racist. Okay? We don't care about being culturally correct. That's not what movies and television is about. It's
Well,
about
apparently, yeah.
creative people telling, I'm sorry, I'm getting like really agitated. It's creative people telling incredible stories
I
in
mean,
their
I'm
own
sure that
voice,
there's
in their
some
own way.
like historic person that would argue with us that like politics
Uh,
has always been part of entertainment.
in a way, but let's be honest. Like, if you wanted to make a movie with Jane Fonda in 1975 about her like fucking a man and then, marrying him and then seducing another one and talking about her being a seducing mistress, they would have made that movie and Jane Fonda would have been like perfectly fine. And good old Christians would go there and be like, haha, she's just, a hot woman, you know. She's a hot woman. Like, of course she's seducing. You get what I'm saying? Like, it's satire. It's a story. Like, movies are not supposed to be real. All
Yeah.
right? It's a movie, even based
So
on a true
then,
story.
like,
It's a
the fact that it's
movie.
not supposed to be real is like I think what keeps it from being so like offensive. But then when everybody starts taking big everything so seriously, then it's like you can't have fun. Everybody starts complaining.
I remember when Once Upon a Time came out, okay? There was a bit of an argument because they had Cass Elliot, Mama Cass. She was part of the Mamas and Papas, which was a group in the 60s. And like they had a little short like part of her in there. And then like there were people that were complaining online about how this movie is fat shaming because Mama Cass was a plus size woman and they only gave her a short amount of screen time, whereas more thin characters of the time got more screenplay. And I'm just like thinking to myself, okay, that's not what Once Upon a Time is about. Like, they do have some people that were from the past that's in there, okay? It's a
People are just
movie.
like
It's
hunting for like
right. Right.
areas to be offended.
Yeah, hunting. Oh my god, that is yeah, that's a really good way of putting it.
Well, I think there's this like, don't they call that cherry picking too? Like where you're
Yeah,
just kind of like picking
very much
out
so.
like the little things that you're looking for. But like cherry picking is like even more specific for something else. But like I think that the way that people like fish for compliments, they're kind of like fishing for being offended in different ways.
Yeah.
I work in the industry, in the beauty industry, or just, I think sometimes you'll have a client that is, fishing for an imperfection. There are certain people that they look at the negative. I think we were talking about this, in the last episode where I talked about like, forcing yourself to like look at the positivity of things, or like look at like the upside, or look past the negativity and think, well, that
It's
must be why.
it's the same way like with my car right now. Like things are breaking down. Like I got to change my struts. I got to take care of this seal and that. But guess what? I got a warranty for another 900,000 miles. So in my head, positivity, it's like, this car, keep breaking. I keep going. Just keep braking. I'm serious. Like, you got 900,000 miles. Like, that may be like, holy shit, like, you need a car. I understand that. But you know what? The positive side of it is that, like, this is my current situation. This is a good benefit. Like, I'm going to make the best of the situation.
Mm-hmm.
Wow, that was. Yeah, I had nowhere else I was going with that. Except
No,
that.
I mean, yesterday at work, I had to scrub a floor on my hands and knees for nearly 3 hours.
3 hours?
2.5. 3.
Okay, so you're like rounding it. You're just shaving the corners. Just,
Definitely more than 2.
okay. So like 2.25?
Yeah, my thighs and ankles were really sore because I kept going between like deciding to like get on my actual knees, or like sit on my butt, or like squat. But like I was like, why do we not have different tools for this? And I'm like scrubbing with like a brush. It's like, what the fuck?
You're
Like,
scrubbing with a brush?
yeah, I had to get all this wax off the floor. My arm is like still tired from like doing the like scrub motion.
Didn't that like bother your shoulder or neck, or your shoulder and neck?
Yeah. Yeah. My shoulder's all fucked up and I got to scrub this floor for like hours. I was all pissed off and
Why
stressed
don't you just
out.
make one of the students do it?
There were no students there yesterday.
What
And I
happened?
can't just make people do shit. You know
Oh,
me.
come on. You're a teacher. You can do whatever the hell
I'm
you
not
want.
going to do that.
You got the magical wand. You could be like,
Yeah,
bitch!
then their mom comes in.
Oh,
Why are you
shit.
making my students scrub this floor?
Because it helps their morale. I don't know. It's a good one, though. Helps with
Just
their
gonna
morale.
have to clean it more often until it so that it doesn't build up like that. But like,
Do you
dude, I
want
was
to clean it
so
more
tired.
often?
I just have to.
Why does it pour all over the floor? Like, I don't get this.
Did
Like,
I already bitch about this?
no, like, are these people, like, just not careful with getting what? Oh my god. Is it from the students just, like,
It's
dripping
because they're
wax?
students. They're like new. So like, yeah, it does. It drips. Yeah.
We're all about the artist. That is the whole purpose of this podcast, period. And you have a really valuable tool. You can share this with artists, people that are creative, someone that can enjoy this podcast and really enjoy the experience of Lost in the Groove. So, with that, let's jump back to today's episode, shall we? That is... It's irritating.
It's been like 10 weeks. You know? Like it's built up over time.
I love how you say that. Like, yeah, it's just only been 10 weeks. Like, that's hasn't been like a long time.
It is a long time.
Yeah, it is a
That's
long
what I'm
time.
saying. Like it's been a long
multiple
time.
months.
It's built up.
It's not like, how many months is this?
It's
4?
nearly 3.
Yeah.
Wait, is it 3?
No, it's
8,
8
9,
is
10, 12. 12 is 3 months.
So it's almost 3
Probably
months.
yeah, it's probably been 12. To be honest, it's
So you've
probably
had
been
2
3
classes
months.
already.
Yeah, 2, maybe 3.
Damn. It's kind of crazy because like I'm in my 3rd week, like 3rd course, and we have 18 total.
Whoa.
So I have 16 more to go.
That's
And then
way too many.
And before you know it, it'll be 10. I'm like kind of like collecting all of my thoughts because it's kind of where it's hard to be able to like sit down for a minute and be able to think like really like not only
Yeah.
about like the amount of time but like pertaining to how people think. Like people are so fucking sensitive these days. It's like Jesus. Okay, I got to tell you this story, right? It's kind of crazy. So at school, I have a Lilo and Stitch lounge fly bag. Do you know what I'm talking about? Like the backpack is like kind of shaped like Stitch. It's got the ears,
Yeah.
right? I'm not gonna take it out. Like just go on Google and Google it. So I was in class. I finish up. Everything's great. I get all my stuff. I pack it up. My teacher, he screams out. He's like, "What's that?" And I turn and I look at him, and he's like, I was like, what? And I have like my laptop bag that's like a Coca-Cola bag and it has a polar beer on there. I was like, are you talking about this? And he's like, no, on your bag. And I'm like, you mean my Stitch bag? And he's like, a what? And I'm like, a Stitch bag. Like it's Lilo and Stitch. And I go to like sign out and he's like, how do you spell that? And I'm like, Stitch. And he's like, oh, Stitch. And I'm like, yeah. He's like, what is that? And I'm like, well,
He's an alien.
Yeah, he's an alien. It's a Disney movie cartoon that came out in the and I just like walk out of there, okay? And I'm walking down with a few of my other classmates, and one of the guys from my other class, he's now in a different class. He's in his Tesla, and we're talking, and I'm telling him this story, and I'm like, yo, my teacher called me out for being a faggot. And he just like had that look. And I was like, yeah, like he pointed out my bag and he just like gives me that look, like exactly like the look you're giving me right now. And he says to me, he's like, wait a minute, you a faggot? Like exactly like that. And I was just like, okay, all right. And he's like, I was like, yeah, sometimes. And he's like, what do you mean? So like it's on and off? And I'm like, nah, I'm just fucking with you. And he's like, ah, cool. And like rolls up the window and he drives away slowly. Another classmate looks at me, he's like, yo, you let it have it hard.
Oh my god. I feel like he's probably embarrassed that he like insulted you.
No, he didn't embarrass me. Like, no, because I was like,
no, like he's embarrassed that he himself is embarrassed.
But I was just like just pure fucking around. But like that's what I'm telling you. Like that kind of shit is hilarious to me because I love satire in its purest form. Like when I watch, like for example, like a television show like Curb of Enthusiasm.
Yeah,
like
I love Curb.
Let's be very honest.
It's fucking funny, man. That's some smart ass humor. That's Larry.
Here's the crazy part, though. He's like that in real life.
Larry David's incredible. He's fascinating. He's very, very brilliant when it comes to comedy. I have my friends work on Curb Your Enthusiasm.
She works on the show?
Marcella, she's the prop manager or something in the arts department. Yeah,
Is she still friends there? No, but she's in France these days, isn't she?
Yeah, but Chasen might work on Curb Your Enthusiasm whenever they film. But I know artists that work on Curb Your Enthusiasm. Basically, is how we'll sum that up for the.
It's like one of the last. There are a few shows that still have survived. Like they're kind of godfathered in almost, where they can just like South Park can do whatever they want.
Oh,
If they want to make a video about like furry pedophiles, they're going to make it. No one is going to stop them.
I feel like I caught a little bit of South Park the other night, and they were doing some smart ass shit. That was pretty relevant.
It's gotten crazy.
South Park has.
Like, you think this show has tamed, like, The Simpsons has tamed down over the years. South Park has gotten crazier. Like, you thought, you thought, Saddam Hussein fucking the devil was bad? Bro. Oh, that was hilarious. That was so funny.
I don't know. I feel like when I come to South Park, like I don't like I want it to be kind of like clever. Like don't get me wrong, but I don't need it to be as far as like witty. Like I do want it to be a little bit of mindless humor, yet clever. But like I sometimes feel like South Park is like shoving like too much into an episode, or that they're making it too wordy, or they're like that's kind of where they've lost me slightly, is that I kind of feel like it used to let me zone out a little bit more, and now it's a little bit more like drama, like wordy, like witty, like comedy, which
that's kind
isn't
of
what I come to South Park for.
Well, that's kind of what happened with like Rick and Morty, because like Rick and Morty, kind of the problem with it kind of took too long for the seasons to be released. Like people that are young right now, you don't understand. We waited years between Rick and Morty series, like years. Like we would just rewatch episodes over and over again. It kind of lost its magic, because by the time you got to the second season, you were just sick of the first one, and then you hash through the second, and then you're just back doing the same. I think South Park has kind of gotten into that almost loop. And again, this is my personal beef, and like we can kind of like finesse with this. There's just too many opinions. It's like, let comedy be funny. Let movies be movies again, okay? Like, enough. You don't need to have 28 black people in there to be culturally appropriate, and make sure that 15 of them are trans. Like, I don't care. Just make good shit that we can enjoy for one. Like, that's honestly what I'm saying. Like, that's all that matters. Personally.
And like part of me like hopes that like at some point it'll balance out. Like they'll get like enough of whatever it is that media thinks that they need to do, that like eventually it'll balance out. But like then the other part of me kicks in and says no. Then it'll just leeway for all kinds of other crazy shit that they want to add into media. That it's just not like necessary. I feel like just have a story about people and have all the people in it. What is the big deal? Like we used to watch shows like
a movie.
You'd have
like it's
a
just
story
a
about
movie.
like 5 kids, and the one kid, she always dresses like a boy, but nobody ever says anything about it.
It's just her. Hey, it's Dave, and I quickly just wanted to jump in and say, if you've been enjoying the podcast and enjoying this episode, if you can leave us a review on Apple Podcasts, that'll be so greatly appreciated. Because here's the thing, someone might read that review and make the choice if they want to listen to the podcast. You get to help grow this podcast with us. How fucking cool is that? Let's jump back to today's episode.
Her style. It's just that person's style. It doesn't even have to be a herd. It's the person's style. Like, it doesn't matter.
Why do you think we loved
people in the movie?
why do you think we love sitcoms like so much? Like people are like, well, Joey couldn't and Chandler couldn't really afford their apartment. It's like, dude, sitcoms existed. Like I remember why sitcoms existed. It was where you're doing chores, or you're kind of like making dinner, or you're kind of just like kind of getting things ready. And it was there just a way to wind down. Sometimes you'd watch it after a long day. You'd sit there, maybe read your newspaper, relax on the couch, take off your shoes. That's what a sitcom was. It was a good, quick laugh. It was easy to unwind to. We didn't care if it was cultural appropriate. It was nice when Seinfeld had some of the weird episodes. It was nice, like, when Friends was a little bit out of the box sometimes. But, like, I understand that times have changed. But not allowing creators to be creative, I think, is a disadvantage. I don't think see that as an advantage. I don't know. This is just my personal state. I know you're fucking exhausted, but
No, I'm good. I'm just thinking about like sitcoms in general.
like what? Like King of Queens, Everybody Loves Raymond,
No, kind of just
Frasier,
like,
Cheers,
well, I spent a lot of
Golden
time
Girls.
marathoning Cheers. There was one moment where I watched like 6 seasons of
Everybody
Cheers.
knows your name.
It was kind of good for a minute, and then it was not good at all anymore. But I could see
With
why people
Cheers,
watched it. Yeah.
after Coach, the one that played, I read an article. It was. I honestly like. I had heart palpitations when he passed away. It's like almost like the cast kind of like died because he kind of like brought everybody. If you watch the earlier seasons with
Yeah,
Coach,
that's all I watched. Yeah.
but then when you watch it without, like, what's his name? Woody. I forgot his name. It's like one of the
I don't know. When I marathon that, it was like quite some time ago, and I
yeah. I
think
mean, it
I had already
didn't age
watched all of
gracefully.
Friends.
I've watched all of Friends 3 times.
I don't know. People are going back there, like rewatching everything. Like what I had friends that went back, they watched all of Dawson's Creek.
I've watched the whole Jeffersons, every single season.
It's fucking great, dude.
Yeah, Family Matters, watched all of them.
I mean, I
Golden
watched all of
Girls.
Sex in the City, but that's pretty
Yeah.
common. I watched all the Golden Girls,
Wait,
all
you
the
got okay.
Seinfeld.
So sideway for a second. You were the one that got me into Sex in the City because we got into a conversation. I was like telling you that I remember when I used to go to Blockbuster. I'm dead serious. There used to be an adult section. Okay,
Yeah,
I shit you
yeah.
not. And Sex in the City was in the adult section. And I like remember like passing it.
That's ridiculous.
Yeah.
Do you mean like adult other than like the porn section?
I
Because
think
if it was
like
the porn section, you wouldn't have
no,
even
no.
seen the cover.
So
There was a
there,
porn section too,
there was a porn section, but
but I was like secret.
yeah, it was kind of on the side. This was where I believe like 17 and 18 plus, like you had to show ID to be able to take. I don't know, maybe this was a New York thing, but usually content that was kind of like sexual or like adult, you'd either need like a parent or you'd
Yeah.
need an ID to be able
Yeah.
to check it out of a blind. So anyways, like,
Mhm.
I got
Oh
into this.
yeah. Yeah,
Yeah,
you definitely couldn't rent it. Like there were rules. Like
imagine that. Like
yeah, we
you,
used to have my friends like parent like rent like the PG-13 stuff for us. Like we weren't allowed to
right?
get it.
Yeah, because
Yeah.
you weren't of age. So, that was the thing. Like, and I was talking to you about it, and then I remember watching the very first episode, and I remember watching the very first like episode of Sex in the City. I sat there, and I was just like, I was in awe. I was like, I want more of this, and it's just amazing because like every single season opens up a new door, new people, new experiences, and like you almost feel as if you're Carrie Bradshaw.
No, it's really good. I
Or
was just thinking
Samantha,
back to
or
the fact that I
Charlotte.
tried.
We love Charlotte.
I love Charlotte.
I love Charlotte.
I was thinking back to the fact that I tried to watch the Brady Bunch, like the old show. Like I tried to I tried to marathon.
It's hard. It's hard.
Horrible.
It's horrible. It's really, really
bad.
hard to swallow. It's
It really
so
is.
cheesy, and it's like, hey, Chucky, what you doing today? Oh, no, you dropped your pen.
Okay, I just have to say,
yeah.
it's
They had a Sears commercial, by the way, which was crazy.
Extremely sexist.
What, the Brady Bunch? Oh, yeah, big time.
And the camera, like, is so selective about what it's looking at. The camera is a perverted old man. Like, the camera is constantly
always on women. Always.
Checking out the women. And, like, there's, like, scenes where she's, like, brushing her hair and, like, getting ready. And it's like, why? Why are we doing this in the show? Like,
it was
actually.
the 60s. It was a different time.
No, but it's like, I really don't understand why we're watching her get ready for bed. Like, I really don't understand why we're watching her zipper come all the way down and we're not, like, letting this girl get ready for bed alone. Like, I don't really understand, like, why am I even in her bedroom right now in this episode? How is this relevant to the episode at all? It's really awful. It's like they're following around those young blonde girls with the camera. Like it's really awful.
Well, it's wild when you look at like one of my favorite TV shows of all time is the Mary Tyler Moore Show. Mary Tyler Moore had to have the help of her husband to be able to produce her show. Okay? Nobody wants to admit that in 1968, even though that she was a successful actress after being in the Dick Van Dyke Show, showing how talented she is, they're like, yeah, you want to make a TV show about being single as a woman? Yeah, no. She produced and had her own show develop. And my God, like, I understand that it came out like over 40 years ago. Watching this woman be like, why does he get paid more than me? Like, we're doing the same job. Like, how is that fair? And then her boss looking back at her is like, well, you're just a woman. And she looks at him like, and like you can see the rage in her.
The gaslighting is so hard.
Right, yeah, and like it's so recognizable to this time, like even now, that like, and you see the polar opposites because the Brady Bunch and the Mary Tyler Moore Show came around the same time. The same way you have like a movie like Rocky Horror Picture Show. Give me another like clean 70s movie.
I mean, Rocky Horror is not clean. What do you mean?
No, Rocky Horror Show is, I'm like thinking dirty and then like comparing it to something that was clean.
I mean, the ABBA movies.
The ABBA movies? Oh yeah, the ABBA movies. Holy shit, I totally forgot.
Mamma Mia!
Ha ha!
Here we go again!
Nah, nah.
Yeah, no, I hate that movie. I'm sorry. You enjoy. Everybody else enjoy.
Andante, andante.
I don't know. I mean, like, really, really clean 70s movies. I never kept track of them because all my favorites are the ones that were, like, bad.
Right? You see what I mean? That's what I'm telling you. It's like, that's the culture shock, like, of the 70s. I'm not saying the 70s was the best decade. There's something about creative nature in humans that existed. We got Blazing Saddles. We got Willy Wonka. We got Jaws. The list just goes on, the amount of creativity that exists. Like, we got Wings in the 70s. Okay? We got
I mean, I do think that the
Jackson
economy was in a
5.
situation where people were able to do that kind of thing.
Yeah,
You know,
like
they're
Cher,
living.
Dolly
There were a
Parton.
lot
I'm
of
sorry, I'm
people.
just throwing names out there. There's just so
You're like on
much.
crack right now.
Yeah.
You didn't tell me that you started doing crack, but
Oh, yeah.
you and all your new school friends, you guys are doing crack.
Foaming from the mouth. We should wrap up.
Yeah, I hope my students don't do bad drugs.
No. We only do that stuff so we can be creative and great podcasters.
Thanks for listening to American Groove.
Hey, and you learned some stuff, and you got to walk down the road with us to There's a Light. Oh, I thought you were gonna like continue.
There's a light on the ocean.
No, it's on Frankenstein's place. Yeah, I don't remember all the lyrics for Rocky Horror, but we love you, motherfuckers. If you want to check out Karissa, you can find her at American Groove Pod. And if you want to check out more of the podcast, Lost in the Groove, you can find us on Facebook, TikTok, Instagram, and YouTube at Lost in the Groove Pod. So with that, I shall bid thee farewell.
Peace. Thank you for listening. Have a
Peace
good
out,
one.
motherfuckers. Go watch Rocky Horror Picture Show if you haven't watched it. I'm telling you, it's amazing. All right.